Township police flagged the Secret Service over a lack of manpower near the building that Crooks scaled and shot from. A New York Post headline says, quote, Trump rally shooter Thomas Crooks tracked ex-president's appearances for months. 3 people were shot at the rally, 1 fatally. Right now in Pennsylvania, private funeral underway for Corey Comparatore. The volunteer fire chief died while shielding his family in the crowd. Let's bring in Kara Frederick, former DOD counterterrorism analyst. And Kara, the big question in this investigation is how in the world that rooftop was left uncovered. In the world of the Secret Service and presidential campaign events, it is an absolute no-no for an elevated platform with line of sight to where the president is going to be to remain either unblocked or unprotected. Do you have any theories as to what might have happened?
No, I think we're clearly not getting the full picture here because, as you intimated, this is physical security 101. And the fact that that rooftop was not secured is a massive oversight. So in terms of theorizing on what happened, it is critical for a security plan to have your local law enforcement, to have your state officials, and to have your federal authorities all coordinating. It appears that there was some sort of lapse in coordination here. But what I think the bigger question is there are reports that he was surveilling President Trump's movements over the course of months. How do we not know how he was surveilling? What digital platforms was he using to do it? Every type of sensor that the world is saturated with right now emits what we call a digital exhaust. They should be able to track down his geolocation based off of the digital surveillance platforms he was supposedly using. They should have a pattern of life for this kid. They should have content emanating out of that to paint a more fulsome intelligence picture to get after this guy. The fact that that wasn't done beforehand, and it doesn't appear to be, they don't appear to be exploiting that data, at least accurately for the public to see now. This is a massive oversight as well.
You know, an intriguing little development in all of this, according to Congressman Michael Waltz from Florida, in that briefing with the Secret Service and the FBI, members of Congress were told that Crooks had 3 encrypted accounts on overseas platforms. I don't think the nature of the platforms was described. We don't know if they were financial accounts or if they were social media accounts or some other kind of account. But now there appears to be some sort of international component to all of this.
Yeah, and I think this is so interesting, too. But as something I did for almost 10 years with the government and then with the big tech company, what you do is you can extract data from these platforms. You can figure out, who were these platforms that he was supposed to be using, even if they were encrypted. Who was he talking to? What are his IP addresses? Can you geolocate him to those physical locations? This is something tech companies can do. Was he using aliases? What are the connections to that network via those platforms? Like you said, we don't know the nature of those encrypted overseas accounts, but there are people who are in the government, even who are outside of the government, who can work to exploit that information that those accounts would convey. So the hearing next week should give us a lot of answers because this is happening. The public is just not aware of what actually is going on.
All right, so we've got hearings next week, but a bigger question in all of this is, given the security failures and how these erupted and the fact that we know almost nothing about Crooks and what his motivations might have been, does there need to be in the wake of the Kennedy assassination, the Warren Commission was struck. Now, a lot of that was political cover for Lyndon Johnson, but do we need to have something of that level to look into this?
Oh, I completely agree with that. Yes, Congress has oversight capabilities. And you look at the senators trying to track down the head of Secret Service as she's walking away from them. That is a reverse of how this is supposed to work, right? Our senators and our representatives, they represent the American people, and the heads of those federal agencies, they work for us. They work for us. She should not be evading those questions. There's a measure of transparency here that the American people are owed, because I'll tell you what, John, this does not pass the smell test. The fact that a 20-year-old would not have a heavy social media presence or minimal presence at all, and that in the face of that, he would have better operational security than the seasoned al-Qaeda operatives that I tracked down over the course of years, doesn't pass the smell test. The American people deserve answers. Let's give it to them, Congress.
And if one 20-year-old kid can breach security as this one did, imagine if it was actually, we've heard that Iran wanted to take the president out. If they sent an actual trained team